can't speak. Hello everybody and welcome to The United Stand. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news this Friday night. I made a big mistake. I'll tell you what that is in a minute. But what are we here to talk about tonight? Well, we're here to talk about Man United being back, and not in the sense of the stupid term where it's for clicks and I go, we're back everybody, we're cooking. But we're actually back in relation to what's happened in the last 24 hours since Manchester United pulled off that amazing result. You look at it and you look at the hype, you look at the noise, you look at the prestige, you look at the conversation around Man United because of what they did last night, and you do realise that is the pathway back. So many people ask all the time, what's the way back for Manchester United? And the way back is doing things like that, like last night, because all the news outlets, the radio, it's Good Friday here in the UK, and it's been a Good Friday, but obviously for religious purposes, it's a bank holiday in the UK. I was stuck in traffic for 3 hours on an hour journey down the M5 today. So I listened to a lot of news bulletins, and even just on normal national radio, they're talking Man United. And that is what happens when you do things like last night. We've been linked to Semenyo, which is a big deal. Ruben Amorim dropping the name Cunha, what a big hint that is. But this is what happens, and this would be my message to Sir Jim Radcliffe and the doubters, is that we're Manchester United in name, but if you want to be Man United in relation to pull and glamour, you got to do last night, because those Lyon players will be walking off last night and they'll be gutted, but as they move past that over the next few days, they'll go, oh my God, what an atmosphere that was. And everybody who was watching that game last night, and obviously we had 120,000 live people watching that stream in extra time. That's not our normal number. We do big numbers. It's normally around 50 to 60,000, but that's double because people are watching. And people are watching and they're looking at that United crowd and how it reacted. They're looking at the electric and the buzz of what Man United did. And players will look at that and go, if they can get back in the Champions League, I want a piece of that pie. So I was thinking about this today when I was sat in traffic, and I thought, you know what? In a way, we've had a glimpse of what being back is. We're obviously not back. We could get knocked out by Athletic Club in the next round. But it ain't that difficult to be back, is it? Like, if we can replicate those sorts of, and let's be very clear, that's a Europa League quarter-final. When Man United do it, it's big. If we could be in the Champions League next year with 8 Champions League games and we get 1 against Bayern Munich at Old Trafford and we beat them, when Man United do it, it's bigger and better than everybody else. And that's how you get back. But of course, Amorim knows that. You know that. The club have got to give him the ability and the players to be able to do that on the regular. And if he does, we're on our way back and we've had a glimpse. That's what we've had. So I want to get into this latest story about Semenyo. I want to talk about a story in relation to a Portuguese centre-back as well. I want to talk a little bit about Bilbao. Interesting thing there. I also want to talk about what Amorim was talking about when he mentioned Cunha. And I also want to talk a little bit about these players that we wrote off that have bounced back. So lots to get into. The mistake I made was that, like an idiot, I clicked go live instead of copy link. So I actually went live a little bit early without tweeting it out. So I sort of caught myself on the hop a little bit there. But I'll tweet it now, and if all you lot share the video, you'll save me time doing it. How are you all feeling today anyway? It's just incredible, isn't it? You know, if you think about 24 hours ago, we were 7 minutes into the start of this game and we had absolutely no idea what we were going to happen. It was just fantastic. And look, I may as well, while I'm just doing this, I may as well just say as well, in relation to Bilbao, let's not get over the top. I think we're going to win the Europa League, and it's great that Beth and all these other, content creators and journalists are saying we're going to win it, but I was here first, the GOAT. Doesn't mean we're going to win it, by the way. Just because I said it in January doesn't mean it's going to happen, but a lot of people have been waiting with the clip from January. I'm sure they were ready there in their drafts last night. But just a little thing I would say about Athletic Club. The final is in Bilbao at their ground. So we are playing the final at their ground. The semi-final, they are the favourites. And what a motivator. Flip it the other way round. We're the favourites to win the Europa League and the finals at Old Trafford. So let's just not, start thinking it's written in the stars now. it's going to be very, very difficult. Rob Always United, thank you very much. Still high as a kite, he says. What do you think of Cherky Marks, says Nathan? I think he's okay. I mean, I'm not in love with him like some people are. I think he's okay. I don't think, you know, I'm not that bothered, really, if I'm being honest. There's other areas I'd be going for, and there's other players I'd be going for. John, and those are the sort of questions I want tonight. It is Friday night. If you're new to the United Stand, and you may well be new from the madness of last night, we're live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 o'clock, and Friday night normally is drink in hand. Let's just have a bit of a chat on the week. So let's go. Bilbo Baggins. Solid Blake, I'm definitely using it. We were the kings of Lyon, and let's knock out Bilbo Baggins, because I think we could all do that, little shit. That's not heightist, by the way. Hobbits are small and probably don't exist. John's just woke up from a hangover. Thank you for the shout out. Well, you're the guy who made me wear the hoodie. That's staying till the final now. Hi, Mark. I was at the game yesterday, and I think it was the best and worst game I've seen. And what a result we got, says Rob. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Seb backed Harry Maguire when we hated him. He's the Oracle, says William. Will the hotel right by the stadium give me an extra free night because of the West Ham game being pushed back, says Aidan. Probably not, Aidan. Probably not. And just before we get into some of the news as well, can I just say, shame on those twats out there who've been using the camera angle that makes it look like Yoro dived. I said it this morning. I said it last night. There is no reason to dive in that situation, and he probably wouldn't even be aware that it was Tolisso who did it, and he was going to get a second yellow card. It's because the angle looks like there's no contact, but when you see it from behind, he clips him, and also Tolisso doesn't even contest it. He knows he clips him. So don't fall for that crap that Yoro didn't get clipped. He definitely did. Anyway, anyone else noticed that Spurs have got such an easy teams in Europe? Yes, United, they have. They've had a very easy run. I think Amorim has let us down too much. He should go, says Michael. Have a go at Michael. Rubbed one out with the highlights. I'm still high and drunk, says OTG. Fantastic thoughts there. Okay, let's get into it. So, look, a little bit of breaking news. Manchester United are leading the race to sign Semenyo from Bournemouth, apparently. Does he pass? I don't watch loads of Bournemouth. I've seen a few games from Bournemouth, and he looks a good player. Does he pass? Does Semenyo pass? Anyway, Sky Sports are saying that Man United are leading the race to sign him. It would be a 65 to 70 million pound deal, but Bournemouth would be open to doing the deal in a structured way, like they did with Solanke and Spurs, where, you know, maybe we give them 15 million now, 15 million next year. So it totals 70 million, but you do it in a structured way. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say it's a bad deal. All I'm going to say is if we're going to bring in one of these wide attacking players, they better pass. We saw it last night. I just need these wide attacking players or these number 10s to pass. And if they're thinking about feeding the striker or feeding their teammates, then, you know, let's do it. That's all I'm concerned about. That's all I'm concerned about on that. So, look, interesting news. What I would say though is, and what I said at the very start, is look what happens when good things happen. And look what happens when bad things happen. When bad things happen around Man United, things get worse. When good things happen, it attracts positive vibes. And I tell you now, if you're excited and, you know, all the things we have been in the last 24 hours, imagine what players who are looking to leave their clubs are doing when they look at Man United. Those are the things that make Man United intriguing, because you don't get that very often. And there's not many clubs that can deliver that. Okay, Aston Villa might be in the Champions League next year. Newcastle might be in the Champions League next year. Chelsea might be in the Champions League next year. Man City might be in the Champions League next year. And with all due respect, none of those teams can deliver what you saw last night. They can deliver. I'm not disrespecting them. But that type of cauldron and that sort of reaction is reserved for clubs like Manchester United. And there's not a lot you can do about that if you're those other clubs. And trust me, if you're a player looking to a move and you see that and you see that as a possibility and you think that that could happen for you in a red shirt, then people do want to do it. I mean, look, it exposes the question where I sit on the side of, well, I told you so, and I don't like I told you so. Old Trafford shouldn't be getting knocked down. It really shouldn't. Nights like that are why Old Trafford shouldn't be getting knocked down. There is no guarantee that a super duper event stadium is going to be replicated like that. That stadium should not be being knocked down. You look at Real Madrid Stadium on Wednesday night, that's the Bernabeu redone. You look at Anfield, that's their original ground redone. We're going to knock Old Trafford down and build something new. I think it's disgusting. I really do. I just don't. I think it's going to look great, but I don't think we're going to replicate what that ground is. And sometimes you need nights like that to just remind you what Old Trafford is. I think the disrespect some of our fans show Old Trafford over the last 12 months is quite hard to, swallow at times, because it's almost like, yeah, just knock it down. I don't really care about what's happened there. Knock it down. I want a new shiny toy. And I think, I know it's going to get knocked down, and I know we're going to build something new, but I still find myself going, I can't believe we're going to knock it down, and I can't believe Neville and Sir Jim and some of our fans are just so blasé about it. Oh, it's just a football ground, knock it down, we'll build a new one. And I'm like, you know, when you're watching the game last night and you're hearing the crowd, you sort of like, it really matters. And as I said, it wouldn't happen at certain other clubs, but at our club, it just seems to be we're a bunch of bloody mercenaries at times. Carl says, gonna say it like Kev, the greatest Man United channel in the land. Thank you, Mark and the United Stand, says Carl, with the greatest community, mate. Greatest community. You know that watch along from last night? It's had another 150,000 views in the last 12 hours. People just going back, obviously watching that last 20 minutes, which I've done a couple of times myself. If we're paying 60 million on any players, we have two choices of striker in mind first, says Nathan Thomas. The players don't have the IQ to pass, says Frankling. And Maz Rawawi says, you've been so angry lately, but it's good seeing you smiling for once in a while. You're such a cutie. Thank you very much. Comeback last night or the comeback against PSG, says Christ is my Lord and Saviour. Are we talking about the PSG comeback where Rashford scored the penalty? I think last night for me. Yeah, I mean, that was special against PSG, but I think last night for me, I just think that, the PSG one was great, but it came from a handball penalty, really, didn't it? Whereas I look at the goals we scored. I know the first one on Casemiro was a penalty, but their fourth one was a penalty. But those two goals that we scored from Maguire and Mainu, I mean, I'm getting goose. Every time I talk about it, I'm still getting goosebumps. And, I've got mates who don't support Man United, and they're taking the piss. And I'm sure you're getting it the same as well. They're taking the piss. And I'm going, look, as I said to you this morning, if we go on and win the Europa League, it will be last night that we remember. Because we will go, we've won the Europa League, we're back in the Champions League, we've got the 90 million, but we were 5 minutes away from going out against Lyon. That was epic. I remember the FA Cup run in 99. I know I mentioned the Ryan Giggs goal when we were down to 10 men, but I also remember being 1-0 down with like 5 minutes to go against Liverpool in the third round. And I think Solskjaer scored 2, maybe, or Solskjaer scored the winner. That was in the January. There's always these moments. And it was a very, very special night last night. It really, really was. But look, the thing is, I don't want to be sat here in 3 weeks' time, knocked out by Athletic Club. I don't want to be sat here in 6 weeks' time, losing the final to Spurs. And I don't want to be sat here in a year's time where we've been in the Champions League, we've won the Europa League, but we're back in 7th and we're not in Europe. I don't want to go back again. We've got to be back now. I think the thumbnail says we're back. And as I said, it's not this stupid overreaction knobhead that we get in the fan base. The people who, when we win one game, we're back. We know what Man United are. We know, like, under Jose, we're 2-0 down at the Etihad and we win 3-2. And then we go home, Old Trafford, and lose to West Brom the next week. We've had so many false dawns. It's incredible. What I'm talking about being back is that we can't go backwards. We've got to be back now. We've got to be back on track. I'm not saying we're going to win the treble or we're going to win the league or anything like that. But where we are now, let's not step back again. Let's build on this. Because we have been a club for years that is one step forward, one step back. Sometimes 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. Sometimes 1 step forward and 2 steps back. We've got to hold position here and start moving forward. And you know what? Credit to the players, credit to Amorim, credit to you. Where we are tonight is that buzz around Manchester United is real. That buzz around the players and Amorim is real. And we do need to rebuild. We do need to do a lot of stuff. But it would be such a shame if this buzz just wears off. Like, there are agents out there now going, you know what we said a couple of weeks ago about United? We're still interested. I'm not saying Gyökeres is now interested in joining Manchester United, but if Man United had said to Gyökeres a few weeks ago, we want you, and he's gone, oh, I'm more interested in Arsenal, he might have seen the game last night and gone, you know what? If you win the Europa League and get in the Champions League, I am interested. And that will have happened a lot because of last night. And people say, oh, bollocks, this, that, and the other. No, it's true. Of course it is. You can't fail to be impressed by that last night and the atmosphere that you lot brought in the ground, or, you know, the reaction around social media. It's not just in the ground. It was incredible. But, you can't move. If you look at YouTube trending videos, this is for the whole of the UK, and I don't know what it's like in the US or India or anywhere else. If you look, I mean, somebody told me earlier, I haven't actually looked. So I'm going to go to YouTube, and I'm going to go to the homepage, and I'm going to go to trending. So YouTube trending UK. Number 1, TNT highlights of Harry Maguire with scoring highlights, 3.2 million. Number 3, Man United versus Lyon watch along, United stand. Number 4, Man United match reaction, United stand. Number 5, Goldbridge best bits, that's entertainment. Okay? So we've got 3 of the top 5 trending videos in the UK, and the top trending video is the actual highlights. Number 7 trending in the UK is our morning video. So this is what I mean. It's not just the amazing crowd and what that generated. It's the reaction to it from all of you lot and the wider fan base. There's clips on TikTok. There's clips. I'm not just talking about United Stand either. It's just Manchester United. When we're good, we're massive. And you sat here tonight as a fan, and you sat wherever Ruben Amorim is tonight and the players, and you're going, you know what? That needs to be the last time that we glow up and drop off. We've got to maintain this now. And we've got to maintain it all the way through to the Europa League final. And Amorim will want to do that. The players will want to do that. And God, we all want to do that. But you know where I'm really looking? I'm looking at old Joel and Jim. JJ. I'm looking at them and I'm going, you know what? We can't do anything about it as fans. We can only react. We've done our bit. When the team delivers, look at what we deliver. Numbers, virality, massive, massive, massive publicity. That's because of you. We've done our job. Amorim and the players, they've done their job. So we've shown the world what Man United can be when we deliver. But what you still need is 10 players. What you still need is money. And that's where Joel and Jim come in. And that's where I'm looking at now and going, look at what happened last night. Look at the reaction to it. Look at how many people are knocking on the door and ringing up and saying, yeah, we would be interested if you put something on the table. Are you going to put something on the table? Because if they don't, we'll drop off again. And this will just be a memory. Like Mourinho winning the Europa League. It will just be a memory. And it does. It goes back to what we're always talking about. What more can Ruben Amorim do? What more can this squad do? What more can you do? That last night was epic, and the reaction to it has been momentous. But it will die. It will run out of oxygen. You can't keep it alive forever unless you use that and build on it. Amorim can't build on it if they don't give him things to build with. We can't build on it as a fan base if we don't get more performances that allow us to be excited and hyped and everything like that. So we are back, and we've shown that what we can do when we're back, but we're only back for 24 hours. What happens next is on Joel and Jim. Have they got the appetite to keep us back? Because to those people out there that say, it's not just about spending, it has to be about spending. The team lacks a lot. It wasn't a brilliant performance from Man United. It was a brilliant result. But if he can get a result out of that, out of players that aren't even his, imagine what happens when you start bringing his players in. It's a ticket to ride. It's an open goal. But we can't deliver it. Amorim can't deliver it. They've got to deliver him the players now. We've had a glimpse. If I'm sat here in 6 months or 12 months' time and Ruben Amorim's been sacked, I'll be there going, so what happened against Lyon didn't happen. You know, it never happened then, didn't it? Did it? Well, no, it did happen. They just didn't back him. He's got to be backed. It's not breaking news. They've got to back him. But the reality is I'm scared about that. I'm sure you're scared about that. Will they do it? Now is the time. Because you know what? I love this football club. You love this football club. I want us to be back where we used to be. But I'll be honest, and I think we'll all be honest here, there's times where you just think there is no way back. There is no way back. I can't see a way back. There is no way back. What last night showed me, and what today has shown me, and the reaction to last night has shown me, is that we can be back like that. We can be back like that. There is a movement behind this football club that can blow their bloody doors off. I mean, the reaction to last night, where's all this Man United fandom and positivity been? It's just been dormant. It's still there. We're still massive. We're still huge. You don't go trending on here and getting views like that there and everything like that Man United have had over the last 24 hours if you're not massive. We are massive. It's just been flatlining. We've woke up. We've woke up. We've got to stay awake. We want to stay awake. But unfortunately, JJ and everybody, well, they're the people that can do it. So look, I think we can be back, but let's wait and see what happens. Okay, what about Cunha, Mark? Okay, so this is what Amorim said about Cunha. He said Manchester United, obviously facing Wolves on Sunday. We'll get the preview up for that for tomorrow. It's been a busy day today. He basically said that Cunha is a player of real quality. That it's going to be a really difficult game for Manchester United. They're a really good team with good players, and Cunha is a player of real quality. I don't think you could say, oh my God, he said Cunha is a player of real quality. I've heard David Moyes say, you know, such and such is a player of real quality. But I actually side on the side here of Ruben Amorim doesn't say anything without purpose. I think he's a clever guy. You know, I don't really profess to know everything about Amorim yet because he's only been here a few months. But I think he reminds me of Ranić. I've said it so many times. He says something and there's a deeper meaning to what he's saying. And sometimes he's really blunt. I mean, we saw with Rashford, how many times did he come out and say he's not in the team because he's not training well? And he's done it about other things as well. But Amorim's not the sort of guy who name checks Cunha in a bloody press conference for a laugh. He's doing it because he's just won a big game and he wants more of that. And then you name check Cunha, who he knows is leaving in the summer, to go, hey mate, look at what happened at Man United last night. I like you. I've publicly said I liked you. All Amorim's doing is putting his hand up and saying, look, I want you at Man United. It might not work. It might not work, but I don't think Amorim does anything without purpose. And he knows that Cunha is in the process of figuring out what he wants to do next. And when you've just delivered an amazingly epic night that won't have been lost on any Premier League footballer, and then the manager goes, yeah, Cunha's a real quality player. And then you've got Man United speaking to his agent going, we'd love you at Man United. That's all that is. It doesn't mean we're going to get him. It just means, hey, I think you're real quality. And I've said it publicly. And you know we're speaking to your agent. So, you know, what do you want to do? Cunha for me is the dream signing. I've said this for a long time now. I know some of you don't necessarily agree. You've got your concerns about his attitude, etc. I think he's the best signing we can make this summer, even though we do need another striker and we do need a few other positions. I think, you know, people talk about Cherky, Cunha for me. In fact, let's run a poll on that. I've got a few super chats to read out in a minute, which I'll come back to. But he would be the dream signing, but I don't think it's definitely, well, it's certainly not definitely. I don't think we're going to get him. I don't think we will get him. I just think that's Amorim saying to you, and this is what I was going to say, all Amorim's doing there is saying to you, it's very, very clever what he does. He's saying to you, the fans, I like Cunha. That's all he's doing. Obviously, he's letting Cunha know, but he's saying to you lot, because his relationship with you is the most important, he's saying, I really like Cunha. Figure it out. Everybody knows we need an attacking midfielder. Hey, I'm the manager of Man United. I really like Cunha. So all he's doing is saying, I like/want him. If he goes to Arsenal or Chelsea or wherever he goes, I wanted him. I didn't get him. That's all he's doing. It's very, very clever because I want Cunha. He would be my dream signing. Amorim wants him. Can Man United deliver him? And we go back to what I was saying a few minutes ago. What we've done in the last 24 hours shows what we can be when we're back. But it's down to Sir Jim Radcliffe and Joel Glazer to deliver those types of players. And if they don't deliver them, we won't be back. But if they do, we can really build. So it's just very clever from Amorim. Basically saying, look, to the fans, I want him. To the player, I want him. Whether I get him or not, we'll have to wait and see. And you've got to deliver those types of players, but I don't know whether we will or not. I loved how Maguire said that the game summed up his career at Man United, says Fimb. Look, I want to talk about this as well. I have given Harry Maguire a lot of stick. I have. Not in the last 2 years, though. Not really. In the last 2 years, no. It's been a long time since I've gone in on Harry Maguire. Certainly 18 months, maybe 2 years. But I did go in on him a lot. I did. I love Casemiro. And his first season here, I said he was our player of the year, even though it got given to Rashford. Since the end of last season up until Christmas, I think he's been shit. For the last 2 months, he's been really good. Delo, really good player. Most of this season he's been crap. Last night he was brilliant. Give me some other examples. I saw somebody today, it wasn't in our community, I think it was on Instagram or something like that, and they were basically saying, fair play to, I think it was Casemiro, fair play to Casemiro, and shame on those United fans that wrote him off and slandered him. And I thought, oh, here we go. Here we go. Massively positive time in the fan base. Players are loving it, managers loving it, fans are loving it, and the old I told you so's reappeared. I mean, what I will say to that is, so when we support Man United and we're shit, we're all meant to go, it's fine. It's fine we're in the bottom half of the Premier League playing shit football. It's fine that these players are playing shit because one day they might play well and then I'll look an idiot for slandering them. Come on, let's grow up. If you play bad in a Man United shirt, you get criticised. If you play well in a Man United shirt, you get praised. If you play well more than you play bad, you'll get money in the bank. Where when you play bad, people will forgive it. But when you play badly for a long time, you're gonna get slandered. But when you play well, you'll get praised. All we've seen with Casemiro is, for about a year, he's been really bad on 350k a week, by the way. 350k a week is De Bruyne money. 350k a week is Salah money. We've been playing 350k a week for Casemiro and he's not done anything. And in the last 2 months, he's stepped up and he's getting the praise he deserves. There's nothing wrong with criticising players when they're consistently playing bad, as long as when they turn it around, you give them praise. Harry Maguire is a prime example of that. He had 2 dreadful years, and the last 2 years, I think people have said fair play, you know, because that's the way it works. which is what I didn't really like about last night, because I like Delo. Admittedly, he's had a bad season. I thought he played well last night, and a lot of people were still saying shit. Now, maybe that's because the majority of the season he's not been very good, and last night was one game. But I still think we should go. Hopefully he's going to kick on now, and he still played well last night. This is an entertainment business. This is Manchester United. We've just spoken about we're back. I never want to live in a footballing world where you can't criticise players. We'll lose what happened last night. We'll lose the passion. You've got to be able to say you're not good enough to wear the shirt for this and this reason. And maybe they never will be. But if they start to fight back, you've got to give the criticism, you've got to give the praise as well. Dan says Harry was great and deserves his flowers. Does he get dropped after that for De Ligt? Dan, maybe De Ligt sits on the bench until his chance comes along. You know, that's what competition for places is. I'd rather have 5 very good centre-backs going for 3 positions than 3 good centre-backs. And if one of them gets injured, we're in trouble. Give Cunha the 10, says Shatter. Mark, going to the Wolves games from Ireland with my nephew for his first game. He's super stoked. Look, Chaos Theory. I'm looking forward to Wolves on Saturday lunchtime, Saturday at 2 o'clock, because I think we'll get to see some of the younger players. And, yeah, the Premier League doesn't matter massively, but it should be an opportunity to give other, now is the time to give some young players a game time, by the way. Now is exactly the time to do it. Whether it's Obi, Kone, Morehouse, one of the defenders. Now's the time to do it on Sunday, Sunday's the Wolves game, now's the time to do it, because now is the time where there's a buzz. Patrick Lynch says we've had almost 2 years of the team struggling. Last night, for the first time since Ten Hag's first home games against Liverpool, feels like a momentum shift. I hope it's the start of a positive change. You know what, Patrick? And I'll ask everybody this. I got asked this today. I didn't like the question because I felt it was a little bit insensitive. But I got asked the question today, and I won't say who asked me. They said, do you really think United are going to win the Europa League, though? Are you going to tell me to my face you're going to win the Europa League? And I said, yes, because I've been saying it since January. But I also said, come on, you're being a bit bitter. Let us just enjoy what was an amazing night for a bit. Because, honestly, I think we're going to win it. And I've been saying it for months. But I don't have any tactical reason why we're going to win it. I don't have any logical reason why we're going to win it. I just think we're going to win it. I've thought a few things in my life and I've been right. I've thought a few things and I've been wrong. And I might be wrong on this. And look, Lyon had 10 men and nearly beat us. We beat them. They had 10 men. Sociedad had 10 men at one point. Athletic Club are better than both of them. The chances that they're going to get a man sent off, probably quite slim. So we're going to have to really improve. And even then, you're probably playing Spurs in the final. So it's going to be difficult, but you've got to believe. And as Patrick says, we've got to turn this into something now. David Gonzalez, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Anthony Francis says, your number 2 trending in the US is the CBS highlights of the match. Oh, sorry, no, I don't know whether we're number 2. He says, number 2 trending in the US is the CBS highlights of the match. Number 2 trending in the US is the Man United versus Lyon highlights, says DV. If we get Ahmad back before the Athletic game, does he go directly into the starters, says Cavan? I think Ahmad's would be involved. As soon as Ahmad's fit, like De Ligt, they'll be involved very, very quickly. They might not start, but they will be involved very, very quickly. And Ahmad's the best attacking midfielder we've got. Whatever you think about Bruno, Garnacho, I mean, obviously Bruno's probably better than Ahmad, but Ahmad offers something a little bit different. So he would be like a new signing, especially with no Xerxes. I agree with you, Mark, about Old Trafford, but our greatest night came in the new camp, says Elan. But what's that got to do with anything? We're talking about Old Trafford. That's not our ground. League Cup, FA Cup, Europa, Premier League, Grand Slam in 4 years, says Kieran. Did you see Luckhurst give Yoro a 4 last night? Mate, he gave Agate a 3 last night. I actually feel sorry for him. I think he doesn't have any football IQ at all. I really don't think I don't know how he got the job, and fair play to him, but I don't know. I genuinely don't think he understands football, and if he wants to have that chat, the door's been open for years. Mark, people talk about how we ruin players and stars who come to the club. I won't deny dressing room has been toxic, but at the end, it depends on the player. Maguire is the perfect example. Not only Seb, but I love him too, just for the player he's become now, says Yechi. Harry Maguire's got his limitations, and I'm sure he knows he's got them himself. Like, you put him in a back 4, and leave him a back two on the halfway line, he's going to get absolutely destroyed by anybody who's quicker than him. But you put him in a back three. I mean, it's funny, actually. We were at the press conference on Wednesday, and me and Beth were talking about if we get a question, what would we ask Maguire? And I said, I think Beth's question was something about the new contract and how long he thinks he can play at the top level, which is a good question. And I said as well, as a follow-up question, ask him how he's finding playing in the back three and whether he prefers it to a back four, considering he played it for England very well as well. I think that this is what makes me laugh, is that the British media is so biased towards British things, and really will be very biased about wanting Harry Maguire in a Man United team because he's British, and we've seen that before with the amount of questions they've asked about Maguire over the years. But the hilarious thing is, they spend all their time talking about the system, and yet the system has massively improved Harry Maguire. Like, this system, if there's one player that this 3-4-3 suits like a glove, it's Harry Maguire. Like, it's perfect for him. He's got two other centre-backs near him to accommodate for his pace. He's got two other centre-backs close near him for those players that have got quick feet and can go past him. He doesn't need to worry about pace behind. He can step into the midfield with the ball, which he's quite good at. He's got really wide players, so he can do that diagonal to Dorgu if he wants to do it. He can go up for corners and use his aerial ability. This system is perfect for Harry Maguire. And yet, they haven't figured that one out. Knocking the ground down more about crap owners. They really don't know what the ground means to fans. The sooner they are gone, the better, says Tracy. TH14 says, are we a bit too excited about a jammy win where the ref probably helped us a lot? It papers over the cracks when we were poor. Well, look, I don't disagree with you, TH14. You know, are we a bit too excited about a jammy win? Yeah, we're very excited about a jammy win. That's the whole bloody point. It was, you can't have, like, people call the win in 99 in the Nou Camp jammy. I don't mind. Still happened. Some people can say last night was jammy. Okay, I would say you can't have those epic results like the Nou Camp and last night if you don't have the jeopardy of we're going out. Like, and if you got the jeopardy of we're going out and you turn it around in miraculous fashion, then people will say you're jammy. If you want to call it jammy, that's fine. I don't call it jammy in the Nou Camp. I call it two amazing goals that were well crafted in stoppage time because we mentally were prepared for it and kept going to the last whistle. And I look at the game last night and go, we were fucking shit for a lot of the game. But the reality is we're 4-2 down. We score 3 legitimate goals because we didn't stop going. I don't call it jammy. I call it miraculous. I think if you played it 100 times, 80 of them times, at least we go out. But the bigger point is, I don't think anybody is saying that last night means we're okay. I think what people are saying is that's got to be the end of the messing about. That's got to be the warning. That's got to be the last time. That's got to be the catalyst. Because as Mazraoui says, when you look at the Coventry game in the semi-final of the FA Cup last year, we should have gone out. Like, they won that game. It was the most slimmest of offsides you've ever seen, and we would have been out. And if we'd have got knocked out by Coventry, we wouldn't have won the FA Cup. We wouldn't be in the Europa League now. So these fine margins can be absolutely massive. Carlos says, Labour won't be in power by then. It's government funding, ain't how they are trying to build the new stadium. Old Trafford just needs a makeover, says Carlos. Shiam says, it's my 18th birthday and I love the community. Big up, Shiam, happy birthday. And Nathan Thomas says, if we're paying 60 million on any players, I've done that one, haven't I? Definitely done that one from Nathan. Lucas gives Euro 4, but Maguire, his teammate, says he's giving man of the match performances. How much longer do we ensure? Bullshit, dumb, no IQ journalism, says Rasta Lyon. Mate, I don't think mainstream journalism will be the same as we see it now in 5 years' time. I just think football clubs need to wake up to it. Because I think fans have definitely woken up to it. And look, ridicule's the big thing, isn't it? Does Ahmad go to attacking midfielder? He was much more effective at right wing back, but Delo has gotten better. Says, well, it's a great point, Rebel. You've got options there. Fofana looks good replacement for Garnacho, says Cigar. Look, he looks like a good player, but no one was talking about him before last night. I feel like there is more harmony in the squad and like the players are more united. Do you think that's down to Amorim, says Robin R? I think it's a lot better. But you know what? I look at Rasmus a couple of times last night kicking the goal because he's not getting the passes, and I think that has to change. I still think there's work to be done. We can't... You know what? I remember last season, who did we play in the FA Cup? Comment of the night was Base the Cherky, class. I don't even know where that came from, David. I don't even know where that came from. Who would you want to sign left-sided centre-back or a goalkeeper, says Chicharito. Let me just write that down because I'll come back to that. There's a couple of good points here. Amorim could lose the dressing room, they said, says Orange. Delit's back for the semi-final, yes. Jammy or not, it's a win, says Yechi, especially in Europa. Changes the dimension of how the future looks. Like you said, with commentary, nothing wrong enjoying it, but should use this as momentum. Second leg, semi-final at Old Trafford. Bilbao has no chance, as SG. Yeah, I hope so. I think it's going to be an epic double games. But who was it we played in the FA Cup last year away from home? Was it Newport County? And it dropped in my head last night, but I never had time to discuss it because the game just was going off like fireworks. We went 2-0 up quite quickly. Might have been the third round of the FA Cup. We went 2-0 up really quickly, and then I don't think we scored another goal for a long time. Because what happened is we scored 2 really good team goals, and then a lot of players started doing this whole, it's my time now. We're 2-0 up, so it's my time now. And they started shooting from stupid areas, and they started taking people on, and they stopped passing. And it definitely happened. And I'm sure some of you will have your memories jogged by it. We went 2-0 up very, very quickly with 2 good goals, and then everybody started playing for themselves. Oh, we've won the game now. Now it's my time. And you know I'm talking about a certain few players, right? Same thing happened last night. 2-0 up against Lyon with 2 very good goals. And then suddenly, oh, it's me time now. It's my time. I'm going to start shooting from here. I'm going to start taking people on. I'm going to start ignoring the right pass. This has been going on for too long. It's one of my biggest... I don't have a problem with any player at Man United at the moment. Certainly not after last night. There's no player at that football club, whether it's Onana, whether it's whoever else. I might think it's time for them to go in the summer, but right here, right now, between now and the end of the season, I'm not interested. We've all got a job to do. There's no point in talking about get him out, sell him. We need everybody together doing a job. But my one thing that is massively irritating me at the moment and has to be solved by the Athletic game is I watched that Lyon game. We should have been out of sight. At 2-0, if we'd have kept passing the ball, we'd have been 3 or 4-0 and we never would have gone through that. And in hindsight, I'm glad we did go through it because we won and we'll never forget it. But really, we should have won that game 3 or 4-0 if everybody just kept doing what they did at the start. But we didn't. We started getting selfish and it absolutely has to stop because we will lose a game if we keep doing that. For 90 minutes, you shouldn't be being selfish. If it's 6-0, fine, but not 2-0. And we keep doing that. We do it for a little bit and then we get selfish. We've got to stop with, I mean, even, look, I'm not going to name any names, but even Dorgu, a couple of times last night, from ridiculous places, decided to have a shot. And you think, hold on a minute, he's only been here 5 minutes and he's a left back. And he's shooting from stupid places as well. He's not a recognised goal scorer. What's going on? And it creeps into the team. It's not Dorgu's fault. He sees other people doing it and he's doing it. And they see people doing it. And it's like, we've got to stop this. If we're going to win this Europa League, it's got to be team for 90 minutes. No selfishness. No, oh, I'm going to go for a worldie. Team. Yechi says, you've been going crazy with the observations. Love the show. Spot on with It's My Time Now. The game should have never reached the point it went to for the finish before. Thanks, Yechi. I think the senior players on the pitch must go at the young ones when they start doing dumb stuff. Imagine Keane yesterday, says Mrs. Stone. Look, Bruno Fernandes is a fantastic player, but he's never going to be that captain, is he? I don't know whether we can find that captain, but we saw it at the weekend when Shah was pushing Amas. No senior player came over and did anything. It was Yoro. And we saw it yesterday. Certain people shooting from stupid places. No senior player came over and went, what the fuck you doing? The only person getting angry with it is Rasmus, and they don't listen to Rasmus. So I think it is something that we need to solve. Curious Watchman says, how overweight did Shaw look? I didn't really know. Look, Luke Shaw's always looked like that. I don't think he looks overweight. Luke Shaw just looks like someone that doesn't play football very often, and because he doesn't play football very often, he's miles off the pace. Never mind base the Cherky. It's a good job you didn't threaten to stuff the Cherky too, says Smoggy. Evening, boss. If we lose Europa, what's the future, says Arca. Look, I don't really want to talk about that because I'm still high on last night and everything that happened. But at some point, the realism will come back. I don't really want to think about it at the moment. We're still in the same position we were when we played Sociedad, and we're still in the same position before last night. We are on thin ice. If Athletic Club knock us out, we may as well have been knocked out by Sociedad or Lyon. We don't get anything more for getting to Athletic Club and getting knocked out. We don't get anything more for getting to the final and losing. We have to win it all. We've just climbed the ladder by another step, but we're not at the top, and we can fall off. Of course we can. Yeah, I can't say anything more than that. But you know what? I'll flip it into the positive it deserves to be. We were dead. We were dead. You know what happened with United yesterday? We're climbing the rope to escape from the crocodile pit, and we fell. And for a moment, we couldn't see us. Amongst all the crocodiles snapping, you couldn't see us, and you thought, we're dead. And then the next thing you know, we're climbing the rope, and you're like, how the bloody hell have you got out of that? And that's what happened yesterday. We were dead. I actually thought we were dead, and I'm sure all you were, and we came back alive again on Easter weekend, which is incredible. But we were dead yesterday, and we had a glimpse of what it's going to be like if that happens. And look, I hope what I'm about to say comes true because I think we're going to win it. But how can you go through what you went through last night and not go on and win this now? I mean, it would be criminal to do what we did last night and then not go on and win it. You've got to take that and use that in a positive way. You have to. Absolutely have to. Yeah. Oh, goalkeeper. Question was, would you take a left-sided centre-back or a goalkeeper? Well, I'd say would I take a centre-back full stop or a goalkeeper? I've said this before about Onana. It's very obvious that Amorim wants to replace him because Pep went into Man City, wanted his own goalkeeper. Arteta went into Arsenal and wanted his own goalkeeper and changed it. Ten Hag came into Man United and always wanted to replace De Gea, rightly or wrongly. So the modern manager wants their own goalkeeper, and Amorim's no different. He didn't select Onana. But I wouldn't be surprised if Onana's still the goalkeeper next year, and I'll tell you why. Two reasons, really. One, Amorim doesn't dislike Onana. It's nothing personal. He's a well-liked player, but Amorim would like to have his own guy. And if the powers that be say, this is the limit to what we can spend, do you want to spend some of that replacing Onana? Amorim might say, well, I do want to replace Onana, but if I've only got that amount of money, it needs to be spent on these positions and I'll keep Onana for another year. Obviously, that's not great because you want success now, but we might have to keep certain players for another year because we don't have the money to do everything we need to do. So, but that's always been the case. We were talking about this in the international break. Of course, Amorim wants to replace Onana with his own guy. Whether he can do it in the summer, this ain't Man City. This ain't Arsenal. We don't have that type of financial freedom to do that because the squad needs such work. So he could be here next year. And if Onana was here next year, there'll be games like last night where it doesn't matter, and there'll probably be games where it does cost us. But there is a chance he could stay. And remember, don't forget, this guy doesn't want to go. I mean, you can sort of understand why he doesn't want to go. He's on very good money. He's got a long contract, and he witnessed what we saw last night, but he was on the pitch. Why would you want to leave that? Why would you want to leave that? Curious Cat says, what player do you want to sign and sell this summer? Look, sales to me have to be based on who's not here and who's going to financially help us. Obviously, Eriksen and Lindelof are going to go and free up wages. Rashford, Sancho and Anthony aren't here. Let's move them on. Look, Casemiro at some point is going to become useless because of his age. But his wage is stupid. Like, I think Casemiro was man of the match last night, but you can't pay 350 grand a week for that. Even with what he did last night, it wasn't worth 350k a week. So you've got to do something with that. I don't think we will. I think he'll stay for his final year, and I'm not that bothered about that because I do like Casemiro, but if we could remove that wage, it would really help us. I think that Onana, as I've said, you'd like to move on, but it might not be possible, so he might be here for another year as well. I really think it's Sancho, Rashford, Anthony, Malacia, Eriksen, Lindelof, and beyond that, it's hard to see, really. And I think so much of it depends on Europa League football. I don't believe, Chris Edwards says Manu and Garnacho are the easiest players to sell. Manu's not going to go anywhere. I've always said this. Manu's not going anywhere. I genuinely think United have purposely put Manu's name in so that when he doesn't go, it's like a new signing. I absolutely do not think for 1 second that they will sell Manu. Never in a million years. I just do not think it will happen. I think they're just using it as a way to make themselves look good when he signs a contract. To make a story out of nothing. I do not think he's going anywhere. And I never have. Can say it now, we won, but couldn't remember whether the Lacazette nickname, Lack of Threat, came from your watch-alongs. Yes, Glenn. Yeah, it started a while ago. Lack of Threat. I saw people talking about it on the watch-along last night, and I refused to use it because I didn't want to jinx him into scoring. But, yeah, Lack of Threat. It's quite a few years old, that. Costa or Verbruggen found a pic of my fiancée in pink boots. Should I call it off? Ooh, sounds kinky, David. Big shout out to all the membership donators last night, especially Yechi with his 250. What legends. Emotional night. Thanks, Mark, for this community, says Ash. Well, look, I tell you what, it's amazing how many badges there are in the chats today because of the immense amount of memberships that got thrown out last night. So last night was incredible. You know, I said it multiple times to you. It's just an amazing community wherever you're watching. It's an amazing community that we've built here, and that's why last night was so special. Didn't need to move ground for Glinios. Defend Old Trafford, says Romano. Mark, my worry is if we don't win the Europa League, we're going to have to sell a big player like Bruno or Kobe. Am I overthinking about it, says Rafa. I think right now you're overthinking about it. I think right now let's just focus on the positives. You know, the further we move away from last night, the more real we're going to get. But I'm still buzzing off that, and I hope my big hope is that you're buzzing, Amorim's buzzing, the players are buzzing, but that will die down. We've got to build on that momentum, and the only way we're going to build on that momentum is by bringing more better players in. We can't do that. Amorim can't do that. The club have now got to give him what he's shown he can do with very little. We've got to build on it. We've got to bring good players in, and as many as possible. Because I've genuinely felt for a long time that we can't judge Amorim until next season when he's had a full season, a full pre-season to work on a system that no player has really had any time to work on. I also think that we can't judge him until he's given some of his own players. And I don't count a 20-year-old from a relegation-threatened Italian side as, in January, as an indicator on what Amorim can do. So we need this pre-season and we need a lot of players springing in. And then we can start to judge him. But I've already seen enough from what he's doing with this lot to see big things. Ralf Rangnick was a really good coach, but he couldn't get Ollie's toxic team to play for him. Amorim is in the same situation, and all right, he's lost a lot of games, but there has been occasions when he's got Ten Hag's team to play for him. We just got to deliver more in the summer for him. Jaden, thank you very much for gifting a membership. Shaw and Mount also need to move on, says Mrs. Stone. I tell you what, I would say, people talk about Luke Shaw last night, and I don't think he had a very good game. But for the second game in a row, it happened against Newcastle as well. I don't know whether it was just me. Mason Mount was on the pitch for quite a long time. Never got in the game. Just was not in the game last night at all. And the same thing happened against Newcastle. I thought before Newcastle, it might have been the game in France, he looked quite lively. But he was just not in the game at all last night. It was really, really quiet performance from Mason Mount. I wanted him to come on with Manu. I was like, we've got to get fresh legs on. Mount suits that role. He was really quiet, and I don't know why. I don't know. Is he carrying an injury again? I don't know what it is, but he was very, very quiet. We need better players in there. Just on the Cunha or Cherki poll, 21% gone with Cherki, 79% gone with Cunha. Look. I can't explain to you the emotion I'm still feeling. I haven't felt like this for a long time. I just feel so happy, really. I still feel quite emotional about last night. I still feel really happy. And I feel immensely proud of our fan base and being part of that fan base in general. The reaction to last night across everywhere has just been so front of shop, you just can't escape it. Whether it's, I'm watching Good Morning TV, never talk about football, talking about Man United this morning. I'm listening to national radio, absolute 90s or whatever. They're talking about Man United. It's just been an amazing day where Man United, what they did last night, has put themselves front of house. There is a thirst for Manchester United in the general world, and we've just not been there for a long time. We need to build on that last night. We really, really do. But as I said, incredible numbers on this community. To have 4 videos trending in the top 7 of YouTube in general in the UK is stunning. This community is amazing, and I'm really proud of it. That picture out behind there for our 10-year show a few weeks ago in Dublin was amazing. But what I witnessed today and last night, the numbers, the passion, just incredible. So big, massive thank you wherever you are. Get involved with the channel. Hopefully we're going to get more of those nights over the next few weeks and years, because I can't stand the Glazers and I don't trust Sir Jim Radcliffe, but I trust you and I trust the name Man United, and I can differentiate the two. I will never not celebrate Man United winning games of football. I've never liked the Glazers, and I bloody loved 2008 when we won the Champions League. I still don't like the Glazers, and I don't trust Sir Jim, but I bloody loved last night. It's despite them, not because of them at the moment. We'll never die. Manchester United. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. United on Sports News in Canada, says Nath Footy. I'm back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Saturday tomorrow. Match on Sunday. We'll get the preview up tomorrow. But the news show's back at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'll see you there. Absolute legends. Thank you so much. And the big thing is we've been deprived of what we've had over the last 24 hours for too long. That should be regular, not every few years. United. Take care.